MaJaMa Jams is brought to you by the fear of airborne diseases. Comedy, literature and performance. Comedy, type of drama or other art. Comedy, chief object, a play, movie, etc. of light and humorous character with a happy or cheerful ending. A dramatic work, a type of film, play, or book that is intentionally funny either in its characters, a medieval narrative that ends happily. A literary work written in a comic style or treating a comic. None of that appears in the movie featured in the following episode of MaJaMa Jams.
MaJaMa. MaJaMa. MaJaMa.
Do you remember Guido Puccini? Remember that name?
Guido Puccini? No.
Wait. Do you remember World War II?
World War II? I was in it, of course.
Yeah.
It was very noisy, right?
Yes. Pa! Pa! Okay.
I remember.
Yeah.
Pa.
Guido Puccini, my father. A statue fell on him.
Ah, I remember.
Welcome back, everyone, to MaJaMa Jams, a show where we discuss other people's work to avoid doing our own. Now, today, we are dipping back into the well of personability, whatever that is. You guys remember all the way back on episode 18, we dove into something from the Italian's past. His first time over here in America, it was The Silence of the Hams, showcasing his immortal cameo beside Mel Brooks, Frozen in Time Forever.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
It's okay. Have a party with them.
How cool. And we left that Silence of the Hams movie review thinking, you know, this isn't the greatest of comedies. After today, The Silence of the Hams is a godly masterpiece of impeccable, fast-moving comedy. Because we have once again delved into the well of Matteo's old bots, Ezio Greggio. Bots. Ezio the Bots. Put silent T's in there. This time, the gentleman from Silence of the Hams and the cameoing Mel is back, except Mel is in the lead, and you would think, man, what could go wrong when one of America's most funniest, beloved comedy legends is steering us the whole way?
He's also the craziest.
This was excruciating. But, as always, if you're a fan of comedy, I feel like the breakdown of why it failed is pretty interesting, because why the hell did we have not even 90 minutes of Mel? It sure felt like more than that. Nothing translates here.
Who gives a shit?
Absolutely nothing. I think I heard one from you in the beginning. You still had the good faith when we started off.
I was choking on a peanut.
Oh, okay.
This is from 2000, you said?
1999.
1999.
That is insane.
Turn of the century.
This reads like a horrendous comedy from the 70s.
Yes.
Matthew, I always think it's funnier when you take the realm, and then we'll, of course, defer to Matteo's any little personal knowledge of this cast and crew and people we've worked with, because, guys, we also have our writer as none other than Rudy DeLuca, who also popped up in Silence of the Hams, and also a ton of Mel's discography he's contributed to, a fellow icon and legend. Is that only for albums?
Yeah, filmography.
Filmography, forgive me. Filmography. And these are gentlemen that...
What medium is this?
It's a good punchline there for all faster. Suckology? Self-deprecating, insert Matthew's go-to joke hereology.
It's over.
God.
You are an animal.
I have amassed $6.4 billion. And I've amassed 6.5. You didn't. I did. You didn't. I did. You didn't. I did. Wait. How? Look. Ow!
How do these men that clearly know comedy, how did this come about? And what is the effect of the director when one of our beloved funny men doesn't translate at all? Matthew, before we get into all that, what is the plot synopsis of Screwloose?
Ezio plays
Bernardo.
Bernardo, of course.
Oh yes, and that's a part of. I'm sorry.
How could I
part of the
forget
reason that I wanted to do this is because I was like, oh my God, Matteo's old boss and now Mr. Molinari himself have both spent time in a movie as a character named Bernardo. I'm of course referring to this. And
who am I? Name is Bernardo, and I'm a real filmmaker.
Matthew, I'm sorry. Continue with your breakdown of this fast-moving comedy.
Bernardo's father is dying of a heart attack,
which we'll hear a lot.
And his last wish before he dies, presumably in 2 weeks, is to have his old military buddy who saved his life during World War II, to see him one last time to thank him for saving his life because he was almost crushed to death by a statue.
Is that a statue of Virgin Mary or just a regular saint?
Who gives a shit?
Was it the Blessed Virgin or just an ordinary saint?
Jesus Christ, who gives a shit?
So,
and to give him half of the company.
And to give him half of the company. So Ezio sets out on a wacky adventure to retrieve this old man.
Where wacky is used very generously.
He finds him living in a mental institution.
Yes.
And thinks the only way to get him out is to break him out. The doctor who's in charge of Jake, Mel Brooks' character, gets the blame for letting him get free from the asylum. And of course takes it on herself to fly halfway around the world to get him back, which is how these things usually work.
Yes.
And who's our doctor?
Our doctor is Madeline Kahn from The Wonder Years Season 2.
The Wonder Years, when Kevin was in the home ec class and the older, taller girl who was clearly better looking than Winnie tempted him.
Yeah.
It was time to study French.
Bonjour, Kevin.
In our underwear.
Oh.
Okay, that's very specific.
I remember being a kid crushing on Madeline.
What about now? Do you remember it now?
Now she's crushing on Fred Savage.
So
he's done some great directing work. Also, he was in Sunny in Philadelphia directing.
Mm-hmm. So everyone ends up back in Italy, actually pretty easily. Steals a passport.
We're glossed over how that works.
No, this is not you.
Wait.
It is you! Thank you, doctor.
You're welcome!
Jake starts running, trying to get away because he just wants his freedom.
Yeah, and he flees to Monte Carlo because he steals Bernardo's wallet.
Yeah. Yes, I remember that. And then him and the doctor
go to
Monte Carlo. They chase him around the town.
Shenanigans ensues.
Yeah, they
in a monastery.
You could really just say he goes to get him, they go to America, they come back to Italy, and a whole bunch of wacky-ish happens.
Either way, they find their way back to the hospital finally. The doctor takes custody of Jake Paul, because I guess she can do that as a doctor. The dad reveals that he actually just wanted to kill Jake because he stole his wife. The wife turned out to be a man and tried to stick it up his...
He tried to stick it up.
We get it.
You don't understand. He wanted
to... We get it.
Okay.
Then he still gets half the company, even though the whole...
It's finally Bernardo shows his dad that he can actually live up to his dad's...
why does Jake get half the company still?
And so, well, as a gift at the end...
to an insane person?
Yes, I think that there is a co-president or something on the door, so I guess that Bernardo gave him half the operation.
I guess I shouldn't be questioning anything, especially that.
Who gives a shit?
And then him and the doctor get together and have a baby.
Yeah, to be.
to be.
They don't understand.
First draft humor?
It is literally a first draft script. The jokes are literally spelled out as if it were a math equation. Here's what we want for the joke.
Completely
Here's
telegraphed.
how it's going to be set up. Find a way to word this so it sounds like real English, sounds natural, and sounds funny.
Excuse me, sir. Is he all there?
None of him is there.
Oh, okay. We don't have time for that? All right, just go with this stack of papers then.
I feel like it's a double offender because they're heavily telegraphed, but if that wasn't
what's
bad
double
enough...
offender? Your feet. Because there are two of them, and they smell bad.
Shoes are on.
There's still holes.
So imagine how they smell without their shoes.
Well, let's find out.
We now return to
MaJaMa.
Hey, I ordered some cake 30 minutes ago. Where's my cake?
I had it a while ago.
Come on, I got a plane to catch.
I'm sorry. I'll be back.
You ate this cake, didn't you?
I don't eat anybody's cake.
You can't eat somebody else's cake.
Why not?
Because if you want one, just tell me. I'll buy you one.
But I wanted his cake.
Hey, you ate my cake.
It was delicious.
Not only are they telegraphed, very obviously, but they often tack on lines that do the huge sin of spelling the joke out for the audience. And I think there were a lot of times where it was both like, I see where you're going, and then you tack on like, oh, because he wasn't supposed to touch that. Damn near looking into the camera.
That is a tragic habit of a lot of Italian comedians who destroy. I've seen movies destroyed by, for instance, by actors who make a scene. There is the punchline. They say the punchline, and then they have to, because that's this. Oh my God, what did I do?
Because he's a black man, not a white man.
Yes, exactly. And it's something that it infuriates me. Because
you're not trusting your audience. You're also not trusting yourself in
yes,
execution.
Yeah. And plus
and
you want to be the simpatico.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Sometimes I've seen really stories that they say, like, this story is nothing particularly
classic road trip
original
comedy.
Yes.
But well,
they get
his father's dying.
Yes, but
classic ticking clock.
Comically.
I was just making a reference to how many times he mentions that during the movie.
Oh yes, yes. Is the precision of a comedy where really you have the lines that are said so perfectly in a way that everything lands.
Well, right
here
off,
there is nothing of that. It's just like
it's pretty bad throughout.
Yeah,
and like I was saying,
yeah.
Well, because
I'll alert the media.
I genuinely could pick moments from Hams that made me laugh, and they may not have been plentiful for how machine gun the jokes were, but I can tell you genuine moments that made me laugh. John Astin, the scream yet run towards, is one of the classic quotes among us, beloved.
I forgot to tell you.
Here is just not one breath, and it makes you appreciate, like, there's always a lower rung. Like, what if they were like, oh, there's like 2 scenes that are funny, or like how you always pitched Hudson Hawk. Well, you're gonna love the dog joke, and you're gonna love the opening thing. There is nothing to cling on to here, and I have so many questions, not just about the behind the scenes, but also just them.
What's the matter with you?
I don't understand how clearly there's no debating that Mel has made a footprint in comedy. No one could debate that. Even if you're like, I don't find him funny at all, you just objectively can't debate he's made a footprint in comedy. I don't understand what a director does to step in. And again, 2 things. One, Mel is not sleepwalking at all.
No,
Mel is
the
alive.
one with yes.
Wonderfully alive and taking the job
than anybody
seriously
else.
the whole time.
I'm the only one in this place that's sane. Okay, boys, 3 wild ducks flying south. Here we go.
And 2, despite, it's interesting, despite not liking the character and laughing at him, I don't despise Ezio.
Yes.
And I don't think he's a completely unpleasant presence, which I thought was interesting to his credit, because this movie was genuinely unpleasant and this movie was hard to sit through, but I wasn't like, why would you do this?
Who gives a shit?
There's still something there that's like, you could probably pull...
No, why did they do this?
No, but you know what I mean? You said the same thing. You don't entirely hate the persona he puts on screen, which I think deserves some credit, which how bad this movie was.
May I leave my bag here? My father had a heart attack.
Sure, no problem.
Oh, thank you very much. Hey!
Scusi, signor. May I take your coat?
Thank you very much.
Your gloves?
Of course.
Your hat? Grazie, signor.
Prego.
Rudy DeLuca and his writing partner Steve Haberman wrote this story, and they drew inspiration, as Rudy told me, to the character of Harold Lloyd. Harold Lloyd in his comedies usually was...
the clock guy, right?
Yes, was the meek guy who would start to find himself in situations that were growing bigger and bigger and weirder, and he would always try to be rational until at the end it would explode and it would become
white stuff
as well. Yes, he as well a crazy guy.
That was the inspo for this.
That was kind of like the inspiration. The problem is that Ezio wanted to be comedic from the get-go. He did not let his character, also probably because it's not in his nature.
He would have been a good straight man.
And yes, but he can't.
So I'm thinking of the look, the suit, and even the delivery. Him as completely dry Jerry Seinfeld put upon by everyone else.
Look, whatever he wants, he gets. I have to prove to my papa that I can do something right in his eyes. Oh, that's good.
That was supposed to be. Instead, here you have pretty much two guys who try to be a comedian. So that's why the scene where at the end he becomes crazy in the police station
makes you appreciate Jim Carrey's mugging.
Yes, but it doesn't. It's almost not earned. This is a very weird comparison, but it's like the Jack Nicholson in The Shining, who is almost crazy from the get-go.
I'm intrigued.
And you say, okay, where are you going? Because you don't really have that much. If you start to be the meeting that he has when they discuss about him in the hotel, he's already with eyes and face.
I think some of that's just how Jack looks.
Yeah, the man
just
can't
walks
help
on
his
set
eyebrows.
like, hey,
yes,
everyone, hey.
Exactly.
By the way, we have to do the Shining on this channel. Absolutely have to, no matter how long it takes. Coming soon.
So this has the same problem that a movie like The Wild Wild West had, that they were trying to make two comedians with no straight guy.
Bless you.
Sorry.
Thought Kevin Kline.
You would think so.
Kevin
Kline would have been the straight,
well, you should have seen
man.
Inside Out. What? Where he's gay. Inside.
In and
Out. Jesus, how could I forget that name without him being gay?
Wait, Kevin Kline is gay?
No, in that movie.
No, he's got to be gay.
He's married to Phoebe Cates.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
She's like 6.
And he was in A Fish Called Wanda, and he was in...
No, that man just
death.
screams. Have you seen his performance in In and Out?
He's an actor.
Repeat after me. Yo.
Yo!
Hot damn.
Hot damn!
What a fabulous window treatment.
What a fabulous
That was a trick.
Down!
I saw him eating there.
Eating where?
You know.
Oh, I thought you meant a man's ass.
So the problem of Wild Wild West is that both Will Smith and Kevin Kline were the two funny guys, and there was no person to react to because both of them were just like clashing with comedic different styles.
Did they both wear dresses or just Kevin Kline?
Black men in Hollywood are more sensitive about being feminized.
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
Who gives a shit?
Miss Phoebe Cates had a horrible, horrible news.
Have you ever seen Wild Wild West? We tried to think about it in this household.
Sorry, I was watching Inside Out.
Stop calling here!
Oh, Madonna.
This is Inside Out. This is In and Out. One of these is a charming movie about feelings. Another one you're getting in the... Well, again, similar to on Hams, I was like, we have massive talent in Dom, amazing clown, Dom DeLuise, and Billy Zane.
Dr. Animal. Call me A.
A?
Also, call me Doctor.
A doctor.
Dr. A.
Excuse me, Dr. A.
Bingo.
Dr. A Bingo?
Moving on.
Ezio, pull back.
Ezio.
Ezio, whatever the hell.
It's really fun to say.
Ezio. Ezio. There's a T that isn't there. Ezio, pull back. Don't be so much center stage and let these guys... And again, when we get Hannibal Pizza Cannibal talking to our detective, I feel like you could have played a movie off of their energies bouncing.
Oh. Iggy Poo.
Iggy Poo, what is that?
My happy noise.
Oh. But you've talked a lot about egos interfering in your stories in the business, and I feel like these are great examples. Because again, I actually don't hate Ezio, and I feel like he can be funny
you
on
talk
screen.
A lot.
It's very true. It's very true. Glass house, stones, everywhere. Pull back from that, and I think you could have improved. They're both good ideas.
Glass house. Stones.
Oh, he said you talk a lot, so I was like, people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Oh.
What was it? Saying he talks a lot.
He
I don't know,
talks a lot.
man. Stop messing up my flow all the time with your little side.
What am I supposed to do?
You know?
What am I supposed to do?
So I think both movies are not. There's a, a seed of an idea there. You've got talented people. I mean, for God's sakes, you're talking about Billy Zane and Dom DeLuise and Mel Brooks, and you're just rendering. Well, again, those were not flat characters. Mel, I did not laugh once, and that's why I'm so fascinated that this is a student of comedy, because I want to know, broken down like an Oppenheimer chalkboard, what does the director do that takes Mel, who is completely not sleepwalking, who is giving it his all, who we know is hilarious, and he's just a slog. I did not laugh once at all. Well, how does it work?
For that reason, too, this is not a parody of anything,
no,
as Hams was. This is not a compelling story or an interesting story or a unique story by any means necessary, by any means.
By any means.
By any means. Period. There's just nothing to it that you can really grasp onto, so there's not even a story to hang jokes on. There's not jokes to have a fall off a story. There's just nothing.
Ma vaffanculo. Yeah!
We now return to
MaJaMa.
How can you help my house?
By relocating the pain. All we have to do is find an object, a device, that can transfer the pain from one part of your body to another. Like that. Yes, I cured her. I cured her. It worked.
What do you think you're doing?
I cured her gout.
Give me that.
Look, she doesn't even think about her foot. She's just grabbing her head.
The thing is that the way I see it, knowing also Ezio, there are definitely two completely different style of acting. Ezio is a TV creature. On television he thrives, especially when he plays Ezio Greggio.
As a host?
As a host, yes. There is nobody like him. It's absolutely impeccable. When it comes to movies, he pretty much has one gear, and that's it. And he has always the face up or the when he is there is not particular range in that. Even the gags when he is parking And then first he is attached to he went up on the roof of the car, and then.
Hey! Hey! Huh? Hey! Hey! I'm here! Hey! Hey! Stop! Stop! Goodbye, Mr. Puccini. Have a nice day.
It's too exaggerated for the character to work. Had his reaction being 1/10 of what he did.
I think he could have done it well.
Yes, it's kind of like
very stoic. Just give a little like.
I was thinking the scene, a similar scene. There is a similar gag in That Darn Cat, the original one in 1965 from Disney, of a guy who's. Something like that. But I was thinking the Bringing Up Baby, when early at the beginning there is Cary Grant is stuck on the side of a car.
Will you get out of my car?
Will you get off my running board?
This is my running board!
All right, honey, stay there.
Oh, Mr. I'll be with you in a minute, Mr. Peabody!
It's just like is not exaggerated or so. And
even the look of the clean-cut guy with the suit, which translates well to, I am a serious businessman, I am put upon by all this, but again, my reactions are, as opposed to, oh!
Yes, he is unable to pull it back, to stay, and that's what Rudy told me. He says, if you're watching this, again, he kept on saying, because it's right, is that if you watch a heroic comedy, you see the progression of the guy who becomes exasperated and exasperated. Here, if you start already like this, and especially, and I'm sorry to say, but it's kind of like true, and if you don't have range, if you start already at 50, you can go 51. You cannot really reach much more. And so his progression doesn't really come through. And that is also, it's an impediment to the wackiness of Mel Brooks coming out, because if you surround everybody with people, Hudson Hawk, same thing. Every single character is wacky, is strange, is weird. You don't have any, not in a moment you feel that they are really in danger or something because everybody's goofy or something.
No! Hey! Hey! How do I stop this? Oh! My hat!
So this is about 6 years after Hams. He's already made contact with Mel. So how did he coerce him into being a full-on lead in this?
I think it was just like, Mel is incredibly grateful to Ezio because when Mel Brooks came to Italy, I think it was for High Anxiety. I may be wrong, I don't remember exactly a timeline, but it was something about that. Ezio did everything to meet him. He was his idol, and so he went to Rome to meet him. And they hit it off almost immediately. It's very hard not to, because Mel is adorable. And he puts you at ease instantly. There is, even if he is a comedy genius and a comedy legend, he's just like the chillest guy ever.
That's my key. Yesterday I heard a fella sigh.
Stop that singing! Stop that singing!
But then Ezio made a lot, every single interview that he gave, he said, you should watch High Anxiety, you should go see High Anxiety, it's extremely funny, or whatever movie was at the time. And that movie did extremely well in Italy. And so Mel has felt that he owes Ezio.
So there's genuine
this
goodwill.
much?
There's genuine goodwill plus a thank you for helping me out.
Yes.
That got into this. Were you telling me Rudy was very disappointed by this and was pissed about the results?
Yes.
Or I guess that was my next my next question was, did Mel? Well, let's get to Rudy first. And then I don't know if you know how Mel felt about it, but it's just
how many people on the set committed suicide?
right, so let's talk about Rudy's feelings on it first. Rudy, again, is our co-writer. Keep track at home.
Yes. And yes, he was very disappointed because he said you cannot. Once again, comedy is a matter of precision. Rudy wrote for Carol Burnett. He wrote for Marty Feldman. He wrote for Mel Brooks. So he wrote for himself because he did, for instance, a very funny movie called Transylvania 5000.
Is that about a derby?
No, it's a parody of vampires. The song is Pennsylvania Station 65000.
Oh.
And he made Transylvania 65000 with also an incredible cast because there is Jeff Goldblum, Ed Berkley Jr., Gina Davis.
That's a Comedy Central afternoon advertisement movie for me.
I can see that.
Yes.
Rudy was not ever on set. He just handed off the script, or was he there trying to help make it not be this?
I don't know because this movie was shot exclusively in Italy and the south of France.
Rudy DeLuca is not an Italian.
No, only origins of Italy. And every time he sees me, we start to sing Santa Lucia together very badly. Both he and I.
Is he here?
He's here. Yes.
Get him here. Right now.
He is here right now.
In the room?
He is behind the couch.
Rudy?
Underneath.
That's what that rustling is.
So there is that, and the fact that, like a lot of other people, Ezio is not a physical comedian, and it shows.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be experiencing some turbulence. Please fasten your seatbelts.
What are you doing up there? Can't you see the sign? Fasten your seatbelt. Everybody is sitting down but you. What are you, crazy? Sit down. See?
Don't really, I mean, you need really the energy of a Jim Carrey.
Well, that's what I was thinking, is that you can, and obviously Jim made it and had his loving fans and became huge, but you can, like, say, oh my God, the horribleness of Ace Ventura and this constant mugging.
How would you like me to make your life a living hell?
Well, I'm not really ready for a relationship, Lois, but thank you for asking. Hey, maybe I'll give you a call sometime. Your number's still 911? Oh, righty then.
But when you see the going crazy scene at the end, and Ezio's just like...
And the monks, brothers of the Holy Order, saying, fuck you to each other! What the hell is that? And you are telling me that I can take him back to my father? Are you crazy?
It looks like, oh my God, Jim is art. Jim does have a fluidity. Like,
and also, Ace Ventura works because Ace is the only crazy guy in the middle of a, let's say, again, you don't really feel him ever in danger with other people, and because again, the tone is that. But he is the crazy splinter in a machine that somehow is normal. A movie like Brain Donors has three characters who are completely crazy in a world that is slightly askew.
Be careful with that. Do you know who this man is? This is Jackson Pollock Jr., son of Roy Lichtenstein. A few years, this could be worth millions.
But still try to make sense, or Naked Gun, but it's a completely different style, because Naked Gun, the humor is subdued because of the performance of Leslie Nielsen, which is understated, and it lands, yes, and it lands every single time.
You familiar with that face?
I don't know. My memory ain't so great.
Oh, yeah? Maybe this will refresh your memory.
I don't know, it's still kind of hazy.
How about this?
Yeah, I remember him. I used to see him around. Why do you want to know?
I can't tell you that.
Well, maybe this'll help.
I really don't think I should.
Yeah, you still don't think so?
All right, his name is Nordberg. He's a cop.
He was no cop. He was dealing H.
What?
Leslie Nielsen on movie is the equivalent to me of Stephen Wright as a comedian.
I was traveling with my friend George
Some people think George is weird because he has sideburns behind his ears. I think he's weird because he has false teeth, but he has braces on them.
Very dry, and yet as effective as a comedian who is incredibly giddy. It's just like the ambiance you put them on to make them work. Coincidentally, Ezio and Leslie did 2001: A Space Travesty. I will not impose it on you. That's also a Comedy Central movie. Has been there several times.
Give me a little traveling music. What's this celebration about?
You be jiggy too broke, you only dump once a year.
Oh, yeah. I'm sleek. I'm thin. Where's Pasquale?
I hate aliens. There he is. Why do you have to eat fava beans? Fanculo.
Well, again, man, it's interesting because I'm watching this and like, you could hate all you want, but in the language of life, the guy's got a movie where it's him and Mel Brooks. He got it. It exists. We're watching it. So you could talk whatever you want, but he made it happen. And he made it happen with friggin' Leslie. So, you know, this thing exists. Obviously, he's working it. Did Mel ever comment on this afterwards?
It's too much. It's too much.
I don't know about this.
Would you? Just cut the year out of my life.
Yeah, never mind. Never mind.
We now return to
MaJaMa.
This way.
Wait! That's the pervert! He's in!
Pervert. Do I look like a pervert?
He's the pervert!
Yes. Look, you're turning for red. I won. I won.
I have to imagine if you are watching Mel on set, you are probably like, this is great. Look at Mel Brooks going at it. And then you watch the footage back and you're like, why does this fall flat? Or do you watch it on... That's what I'm saying is, I'm just fascinated by, is it completely... Mel is giving his all, so is it completely how Ezio is directing him? Like, what is the... And I know Mel usually directs his own stuff, but...
Well, it's also weird, the writing.
Very first draft and very indicative of what people... Like, when people talk about comedy used to be a bunch of straight white guys in a room just aiming at targets.
Never mind.
Like, as much as people roll their eyes at the woke critique, the gay joke here is, he's gay! And because of that, he's going to have sex with you as a man. And at the end, I married a man, and then he stuck it up my... That's the joke. He's gay, and he may have sex with me. And oh my God, the breast groping is like...
funny.
The breast groping is...
I only want a platonic relationship. That's all I want. I think Plato would have started right here.
Hey! What are you doing?
And then Plato, nothing dirty. I just want to kiss. I want to kiss you.
Please. I'm sorry.
I still can't forgive the fact that Mel Brooks is all over some woman who's putting on her blazer on top of a bra in the airport. And he's just shoving his face into her breasts, into her thighs, into her vag. And then he gets to a beach in Nice, and there are 4 women with their tops off sunbathing, and he takes towels to cover them up.
Whoa. Don't they make tops in France?
And it's like not even like the joke is, oh, he's flipped his personality for X, Y, or Z. Hey, that's funny because he was just all over this girl. Now he's trying to cover them up. It's just a joke that he's like, oh, they could get sunburned. Let me cover them up. And then Ezio goes to the trouble of, oh my God, he put towels on top of 4 girls sunbathing. Let me tear them off. Oh my God, let me get them back. This is so embarrassing. If I don't do that, I'm going to get, like...
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Like, how could the writing be so... Is it just fast turned out script? Is it tweaked for people whose English isn't their first language?
Yeah, because again, these are people that know comedy, and this almost seems like that jokes reek of a Friedberg Setzer. That's why I'm enthralled to talk about it, because these are not no names. These are not people that don't know the craft. What the hell happened?
I don't think that Rudy was on set, because otherwise he would have been all over Ezio, and...
Maybe Rudy should have directed.
And they would have, yes, and there would have been too many cooks. Because also, how do you direct Mel Brooks?
Who gives a shit?
It's always...
So you know what I think might be funny for this?
But that's not even the issue.
Yes.
It's kind of like the material Mel had to work with, story and actual lines, just like, oh.
Oh, hello, Papa. Yeah, he's right here. Say hello, Jake.
Hello, Jake!
Okay, he's doing his best with the material.
I was going to say, we should reiterate that I don't get 1 second of Mel not committing and not treating this job seriously and bringing the energy.
He is incredibly...
That's why it's
Actually,
so fascinating.
in that same vein, I would give it to Ezio as well for committing to the role. I don't think he's pulling it off.
That's fair.
But I think there's
He's not sleepwalking.
Yeah, I think this is his baby. He has full committal to the role and to seeing this to fruition. It's a lot to put. This is the first thing he directed? He did Hams.
He did Hams.
Hams, You're a Cameraman movie?
The Good Bad Guy, and this one.
And then what happened after this? Did he take a break or he kept going?
But it's also his first starring role.
No. He's been in Italy, not directing, not him. He is star in The Good Bad Guy.
Oh.
And in Italy, he has done, by this time, he had done probably some 20 movies as a protagonist.
Oh.
So, but in Italian.
Plot thickens.
Oh, good.
No, the thing that to me the biggest offense of this movie, and it's one thing that it drives me crazy because are those things that I'm the only one who pays attention. Nobody else does, and yet it drives me nuts. In order to make it more universal, he decided to have everybody speaking English. The movie starts in Milan, with every single one is an Italian actor.
He said it would be more efficient if he had the parking space.
Why not? It relaxes me.
Sorry, Sofia.
Don't be a sore winner.
That is also a huge obstacle, because not only the actors had to memorize their lines, they had to memorize their lines in a different language than the one that they used. So it's an extra step. It's not that easy to do that, and especially knowing the Italian production, this was probably also done fairly quickly, and so you have very little time to memorize that, so you have to remember that. But the thing that drives me insane is that everybody speaks English. In Milan, in France, obviously here.
Most Americans would be very happy about that.
Yes. Then they go to Italy, to the hospital, and there's the gag where Mel Brooks mistakes two guys for the father of Ezio, and to both the guys they say scusi.
Oh, scusi. No.
Jake, it's not Guido.
No?
Scusi.
Which is, I'm sorry, in Italian. See, in that the word they created, they don't understand them.
Yeah.
Because everybody speaks English. It's the same thing, aha! For which I hated, I hated Gladiator because of Russell Crowe, but in Gladiator, they made the clever choice of having everybody speaking English. They don't have Latin, poor Latin, rich Latin. Everybody speaks English.
Did it take place in America?
No, but when the son of Russell Crowe's character, who was the son of Ridley Scott, sees the soldiers at the beginning of the movie when they kill him, he turns to his mom and says, in Italian, because he speaks Italian. His wife, Ridley Scott's wife, back then, I don't know if he's still there, was Italian. And I say, who is teaching to talk to this kid? If everybody speaks English, this kid is the only one in that universe who speaks Italian.
There were probably a bunch of tourists from America coming to the Coliseum.
It's possible.
So when you put it on the show, you know you want it to be as international as possible.
With the cameras winding up.
Yeah, it's kind of like you kind of commit to that and be like, okay, just force the audience to read. Just force them to read and make it seem more authentic.
Who gives a shit?
I mean, there is always this weird weirdness when you have actors or situations in different countries than where the movie is produced or the TV show is produced, that there is a language barrier, that it works for the country that is producing the movie. But when you get, like for instance, there is one of the recent movies with Jane Fonda and Diane Keaton.
Without a paddle.
Yes.
Book club, the next chapter.
Book club, exactly. They go to Italy. And I've seen the trailer. There are some shenanigans in the fact that they don't...
Oh, yeah? What happens?
Well, they get in trouble.
Does a saucy Italian man try to court one of them?
But that, I say, okay, if they don't understand the fact that one of them is saying cucina instead of kitchen.
Scusi, signora. Chef Johnny says if you would like, you should see his cucina.
I'm sorry, see his cucina? It means kitchen. I bet it's big.
How does it work in Italian? Because the movie will be dubbed. They will be speaking Italian. So they cannot say, oh, I didn't understand.
Mi scusi, signora, Chef Johnny chiede se le fa piacere vedere le sue cucine.
Mi scusi perché? Le cucine? Parla così uno chef?
È ben attrezzato, scommetto.
Or in Spataman, Far From Home, that they go to Venice, and she has all that spiel of, oh, my new favorite word is beau.
Beau.
What?
Beau. It's the most perfect word in the world. Italians created it, and I just discovered it.
What does it mean?
That's the thing. It can mean a million things. It can mean, I don't know, get out of my face. I don't know, and get out of my face. It's the best thing Italy ever created, except for maybe espresso.
And she explains, then she gives a completely different explanation.
Well, you also got to define the terms in that universe now, too.
Yes.
Because it's like, are they Italian? Are they American? Are we having American? Or is it just dubbed?
Yes, but it's weird how watching that movie in Italian, you hear somebody explain you in Italian an expression that Italian use throughout.
Yeah.
It's always weird.
But at that point, I was just like, oh, okay, this is a movie taking place in America with these characters. You're just hearing it translated so you can understand it.
It takes you out completely. And so they have to do, there are a lot of, that's why.
It's true, because when he said "Miscusi" to those people, it completely pulled me out of the breakneck speed of the plot.
Maybe we need to segregate cinema.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, I've always asked.
Wait. For that stupid joke.
Now we lost the...
Oh, yes.
What was the joke?
They said they pulled you out of the... Miscusi.
Well, it was rocketing along at such a breakneck pace of comedy, and then it just completely destroyed the illusion.
Who gives a shit?
We now return to
MaJaMa.
Mr. Gordon, why are you doing this to me? Don't you realize that we're trying to cure you in there?
It's stuffy in there. I need air.
I know, but you can't keep jumping out of windows.
Why not?
Because sometimes you land on people.
Well, that's good.
Why?
They break your fall.
Yeah, a lot of first draft humor, as you called it.
Plus, his whole mental breakdown in the police station at the very end. He's going through all the beats of the movie, of course, and like, we had to do this, and we had to do this, we had to do this, and when you hear it back, it's like, okay, it's nothing really, and then you think back to all the scenes, like, okay, that was nothing really, and...
it's like Chewie's dead. No, he's not.
Yeah.
We had a lot of obstacles. Like, at one point, he put some towels over titties.
It was like, oh my god, he was a piano tuner. He was just hitting some keys in a hotel room.
Thank God. Was about time. Oh. I can't take it anymore. Enough. You.
Hi.
Well, it's like, again, okay, good example. The piano tuning scene is meant to be like, who is this? Like, dude, we know who it is. And it goes on for like a minute straight, as if like, what is up with this wacky piano player and this otherwise luxurious breakfast spot? I can't even, and that pretty much sums up all the jokes, where it's like, there's not one that you don't see from miles away.
Without also thinking that in an hotel like the one that they are, this is beyond the point, but still, if somebody does that during breakfast, they will remove him immediately and say, you know what, come in another moment, not when we have the whole room full.
Goodbye, my darling.
No. Collagen.
Collagen?
I had my lips done.
What did you do to your lips?
Oh, I just had them plumped up.
But they were plump enough.
Darling, so will I.
Not on the lips.
What?
I'm going to that party at Nana and Nikki's later. I don't want to smear my lipstick.
Oh.
You understand.
Of course.
All right, let me give you a hug.
No! Silicone.
What do you mean, silicone?
I had my breast done. But I wanted to look extra good for our wedding.
My sweet love.
The hair. Just been said.
Sorry. Sorry.
What about a hug from this side?
No! I just had my first liposuction.
Got it. See ya.
Oh, my only love.
Taffeta, darling.
Taffeta, sweetheart.
No, the dress is taffeta. It wrinkles so easily.
Oh.
There is probably also the fact that one of the classic mantras of Italian movies is we'll fix it on set, or if not, we'll fix it in post. So if you say, but well, we're still doing a draft of the script, yeah, it's fine as it is. And then you see the results.
So this got theatrical in Italy, but we don't know if it got here.
Yes, I don't think so. Unless they did some, like a premiere in one theater or something, just like...
I'm curious how the, you know, I feel like a lot of times...
Wait, then what's the point of making it in English? They were hoping to have it in America.
Plus, if you have Mel Brooks. Because of course, it's like Roberto Benigni, the first movie that he did as a director was Little Devil. And
Fred Savage?
No. And he played the devil, and The Exorcist was played by Walter Matthau.
Okay.
So in America, they were selling the movie because of Walter Matthau. In Italy, they were selling the movie because of Roberto Benigni. And here, the strategy was pretty much the same.
Enzo would be a pull for Italy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You said Enzo?
You said Enzo.
Sorry, Enzo on the brain.
Our other Italian cohort. Yeah, it was very painful.
It was very bad.
Well, it says you will laugh until it hurts. You skip the first part and it hurts. That's just it.
Do you think he's a very like, yeah, okay, Mel, do that. Yeah, okay, this scene, like just non-hands? Because I feel like, well, then again, I don't know, because I feel like if I was watching on set Mel do that, I'd be like, Mel's bringing his A game. This is probably funny. It's just you watch it and it's just nothing
it's also
translates.
There is it's extremely hard to be on set, and I've seen it. It did happen to me. Actually, it did happen with a skit by Ezio, that we saw it in the studio as he was taping it, with the fake audience that is commanded to laugh at every single joke. But in the studio, there was an energy that made us chuckle. And then we rewatched the exact same skit on video, and we could not understand why we were laughing. This is the exact thing. You have two things at once that play in a direction that it can be dangerous. One, Ezio is incredibly in love with himself, and it's a force of nature. Nothing can deter him. Nothing. So I admire him for this.
Even the dailies?
Yes. Yes. It's everything is... and two, constantly you say, oh my God, I'm in a movie with Mel Brooks, my idol.
Never again.
Must be going good.
Yeah, so I'm sure that on set they had a blast. They were having fun. Everything was working fine.
You think he watches this back like perfecto?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Well, I guess that kind of sums up a lot.
Oh, you think he doesn't see anything?
No.
Well, I mean, we made bad CGI sharks. We watch it back and think it's funny.
We do? Yeah, we do, yes.
Who gives a shit?
Anything we didn't cover?
There was very little to cover.
Yes.
I mean, we could pick apart the actual scenes that happened, but...
Nah, it's not good.
It's very excruciating.
Yes.
And one of the worst.
Very painful. And a very short film, 125 minutes.
Yeah.
I always think of The Dark Knight Rises being...
under 20.
I mean 125.
No, 1 hour and 25 minutes.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Dark Knight Rises is about 2 hours,
85.
45 minutes, and I always remember with stuff like this that Bane comes in about an hour and a half for the first fight on the bridge.
I bet you remember when Bane comes in. I bet you wish you were on that bridge and he was coming in.
You think your anus can withstand my penis?
You can fit 2 of these movies into one Oppenheimer, and still Oppenheimer.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is that if you're watching the movie and Bane comes up, that feels like, oh, the movie is kicking in. We're really getting cooking, and it's an hour and a half in. It doesn't feel like it. This is less than that, and felt like we were watching the Lord of Rings director's cut by Martin Scorsese.
Lord of the Rings.
Yes, by Martin Scorsese.
I was just making a joke about his recent bloated runtimes.
Tut-tut-tutty, goodbye. Tut-tut-tutty, don't cry. That choo-choo train that takes me away from you. You'll never know how sad it makes me. Kiss me to the end, then do it.
So let's go.
Yes.
Let's get out of here. Let's not even.
Sure.
Let's express our feelings.
I'm going to start voting.
Pieces of paper.
Oh.
Yes,
go. I'm going to start voting.
Going right for the jugular?
Yeah, I really couldn't find anything redeeming in it. I mean, Mel's always a welcome presence on screen, but this was just horrible, horrendous, and painful to sit through. I remember laughing, I think, once at the doctor grabbing his chest after he walks in to help his own father. Yeah.
Guido, my old friend, let me help. Help! Call Dr. Facinaro. He's my heart doctor, but don't alarm him. He's got a weak heart too.
That was what it was. That was what it was. You got a little bit of a...
And that was literally it. And that's usually not the case. There's always something you can find to at least make, oh, in my head, that's funny. Even if you don't laugh out loud. So 5 for me.
I completely agree with that. Like I said, comparatively, this makes me feel like Hams did somewhat succeed. Had some ones we can quote and chuckle at. This was painful. Not one laugh, and by the end, all joking aside, you're just like, end. And he goes to the friggin' doctor, and he goes to the friggin' Mel. Last thing, you're just, end, please. So 5, I respect Ezio for actually getting in a movie with his idol. I do think that's cool. But very unwatchable. Very.
Yeah. I second the motion.
Oh.
Despite all the love that I have with Ezio, whom I know since 1986.
I was born.
Yes.
Maybe I'm the child of your guys' friendship.
Absolutely, definitely. Yeah. Yes. There is no other explanation. So 5 for me, Argentina. And
that's funny.
One of the all-time worst?
Yeah. We watched Titanic, The Legend Goes On.
Laugh throughout.
Yes.
Laugh throughout.
And that was painful, but this, that was yesterday. This takes the cake for just a horrible, painful, arduous watch.
MaJaMa.
Who gives a shit?
MaJaMa.
So if you guys happen to be obsessed with comedy, I do feel like there's, if you can sit through it, there is a lesson here, which is something.
But we don't know what the lesson is.
But thanks for sticking for another installment of movies from Italy that Matteo was personally in some way involved with. We'll be back next time with The Good Bad Thief.
Good Bad Guy.
The Good Bad Guy, where Matteo...
But not next time. We need at least some
6 years.
Yeah, we need at least about 50 episodes in between.
Featuring Matteo Molinari as a cameraman.
Yes.
Just loop that shot. And we'll go on that! Matteo's cameo. It's a jam. Tomas's head is round as hell, buddy.
What?
Tomas's head is so round. Say goodbye to the people. Tomas is not looking at the camera.
Oh. How can you tell?
Tomas is taking us out. That's it.
MaJaMa. MaJaMa.
And now MaJaMa teaches you how to make a comedy.
Step 1. Watch Screw Loose. Step 2. Literally, do anything else.
Congratulations, you've made a comedy.